Grand Theft Auto, a game that's fundamentally about stealing cars, amongst all the other things of course, but at the core of it, Grand Theft Auto is named after the automotive crime of stealing cars, and I felt like for the past 15 years, in fact ever since Grand Theft Auto's inception, the idea of stealing cars has been an afterthought for Rockstar in many respects. Of course they're focused on way more important things, deep characters, engaging stories, amongst many other different things, but the vehicle theft has been lacking. Now, this video is going to be referencing the leaks that we had back in 2022. I know some people don't want to hear leaks, so if you don't want to hear anything about these leaks, leave the video now. So based on the leaks that we had back in 2022, of course we saw a lot of gameplay, and within that gameplay we were able to see some of the tools, some of the menus, and some of the things that we had access to in the game. Now I will do a full video about all of the tools and weapons and what they can be used for, but in this particular video I want to focus on 3 tools that we saw in the items and tools list that are definitely related to the theft of vehicles. So the first one is the immobilizer bypass. Now most cars, especially since the 90s, have immobilizers in them, and immobilizers over the years have changed. In the 90s they were primarily mechanical immobilizers, so if someone had tampered with the ignition slot on a car, it may cause the car to not start, so on and so forth. But more modern immobilizers are more a case of if the alarm's been set off, the vehicle won't go into gear, or the vehicle won't start, or many other limiting factors. Immobilizers over the years have got quite advanced, and this particular tool that we saw in the leaks list, we can see that we can use a PDA by matching the code. We can use this tool to basically bypass the immobilizer. Now in Grand Theft Auto Chinatown Wars, we were able to do something similar. We were also able to pick cars and pick locks, so on and so forth, but for luxury cars, a digital immobilizer bypass is probably what you'd want to use. Now in what instances that we can see this being used, probably when we're going to high-end dealerships to steal cars or stealing more valuable cars, we may have to gain access to the vehicle by using some form of hacking or some form of digital tool, and then use the immobilizer bypass tool to actually get the engine started. Now the next tool I want to talk about is a cutoff tool. This is probably the most likely tool that you'd be using to steal older cars, as you'd simply be cutting ignition cables and splicing together the 2 wires that would cause ignition to start. This is like the OG way of hot wiring a car, and when you think of hot wiring a car, using cutoff tools is probably what springs to mind. Next we have the Slim Jim. So this is used to slide down between the glass and the panel of the car door to actually push the lock down and unlock the vehicle. This sort of tool won't be used for newer cars for the most part. This is once again a very old school way of breaking into car doors. Now this also begs the question, will we be able to break into cars and steal stuff out of the cars, or is the purpose of breaking into a car purely just to steal the car itself? I'm very interested to see how this tool can be used in certain situations. And then this also brings us on to the tracker jammer. Now a tracker jammer is essentially a GPS tracker blocker. Now for the most part these don't really work in real life, especially not in the UK. Most automotive trackers that use GPS signal, blocking that particular signal isn't exactly the easiest thing to do. I'm not talking from experience, by the way, I did some research. I don't steal cars, and if you watch this, please do not steal cars. But this is probably most likely going to be used to stop the cops from finding a stolen vehicle. The actual practicality of the device working probably won't be that great in real life, but in the sense of a video game, it's a good way to tactically steal a vehicle and stop people from tracking you. I'm guessing this allows you to buy yourself a bit of time when stealing a more expensive vehicle. Now if we zoom out from all of this, what we're technically doing here is introducing mini games in the process of stealing vehicles. Now I'm very divided by this, and I would love to hear what your thoughts on this down below. I would like stealing vehicles to be more interesting than it is in GTA 5, but I also don't want every single vehicle to become a chore or a mini game where I have to move sliders around and type in codes just to get the vehicle started. I have a feeling after a certain period of time it may get just a little bit annoying. So I'm hoping that this will probably be for parked cars and not every single parked car. Obviously if you're stealing a vehicle from someone as they're in it at a set of traffic lights, the car's already going to be running. And of course we have other tools on this list as well, such as USB drives, crowbars, and other small little tools that could potentially be involved in the process of stealing vehicles, not necessarily getting into the cars, but maybe breaking into a garage with a crowbar, hacking a security system with a USB drive, so on and so forth. You get the idea. Now this all being said, the stuff we saw in the leaks could get axed from the game. Just because it was in the leaks doesn't mean it's going to be in the final product, and obviously as we saw from the leaks that was pre-alpha development. Half if not all of these features could be removed from the final game, as at that point in time they were literally just testing different ideas and concepts to see how they would work in the game and how operationally they'd fit into the overall GTA 6 world. Now of course these were all the things that we saw in the leaks, but the leaks didn't necessarily show us everything. There could be more lockpicking tools, there could be more devices that we can use to access vehicles, and to be honest I'm kind of guessing that a lot of the vehicles will literally be smash the window, start the car and get gone. But overall I think that this shows that Rockstar are taking a more overall pragmatic and realistic approach to the way that we break into vehicles, and it definitely shows a level of attention to detail that vehicles have never had in previous GTA games, other than Chinatown Wars, but let's be honest, that game was an outlier in the series. So let me know what your thoughts are down below, and let me know what scenarios that you would like to see in GTA 6. And a massive thank you to Medic SureShot for giving me this video idea. It's something that I've touched on in the past, but I've never done a full dedicated video to this topic. Thank you all so much for watching today's video, and if you did enjoy, please remember to like and subscribe. Love you all, see you in the next one.